All right, here's phase 3 of the Polaris Trail Boss project I've been working on. It's a little dirty. I haven't had a chance to clean it up, but thankfully I've been able to ride it more recently. It went down in October. I got it back at the beginning of the year. Mistakenly put in a larger, hotter plug, which killed the new piston head that it got. So I had to wait another 4 months to, well, 3 months to get it back. So it's back again, correct plug, a little more fixes on it too. I have a guy in about an hour and a half away that's been helping out with this. He's got the parts, he has the knowledge to help do this. So what do we got new? Well, just recently we had a winch put on so I can help get it out of a mess. And before, the shocks were an issue. Well, it's got nice new shocks in it, and thankfully, you can't see it. It's got these silver, I don't know what they call it. Well, these silver sleeves that the new shocks, not native to this model, can slide into. And then they slide into this. So it's like an adapter, I guess. That makes sense. So now I can fit, I think he said, from like 91 to 2005 era, maybe even newer. So I have a ton of shock options now. The previous shocks were not even 1987 versions, they were 1988. Since it was at the end of the 97 model year, they put 1988 shocks on there. So even when I got 97 shocks, or 87 shocks, they didn't even fit. So that was pretty upsetting when I finally got the correct ones for it that actually worked. The fog lights are still on, which are great. The cheap Harbor Freight winch with the wireless remote. I didn't really have to use it, but I pulled it out, hooked it to stuff, and it pulls the ATV pretty well. So what went wrong originally in October? I burned a hole through the piston, or a pit. Not a hole, but a pit in the piston, which made it inoperable. It wouldn't catch. So I found a guy to get me a new piston head and bore the cylinder bigger, so it's 20 over. The new piston head went in. I had someone put the top back on, put the new piston head on, do the seals and everything, and I ended up buying an iridium spark plug, which after a couple times of riding burned out the piston head. So that was pretty disappointing. But this new guy I got here, well, okay, it's already on. He did me a favor, and I still have the old master cylinder. I'm going to get a new one, but he hooked this guy up. So now when I hit the brake, this guy lights. He put you're not gonna be able to probably see it from this angle. He put this little box in that's right there and wired it up. So whenever there's pressure, it activates it, which is pretty nice. I'm trying to think exactly what else. He replaced the stator too, but that's still not fixing electrical, so it still doesn't charge, which sucks. So I'm still have to address the charging issue. The back shocks might be getting worn out now too, but they're a little bouncy. He hooked the winch up to these guys here and put the small box here. Then he mounted the small box, the bigger box up here to the front. So it's right there. So I have a rubber grommet coming for this. That's a split that I could put on there. Put a new air filter in it. Fix this rubber one. This rubber was split in the previous videos, but now I had it taped. But I got a new one. Cut the old one off, put a new one. So I just have to remember, I think my dad did it, split it originally. Pull down real hard, put it under, because there's this little lip here that if you pull it straight off, it starts to cut it. So, oh, and then he gave me a new chain. Well, not gave, but I bought a new chain off him and he put it on. Well, after I got it back at the beginning of the year, it popped off the front, and instead of it just spinning, it bunched up and pierced the transmission case. So my transmission case leaks a little bit. I put some JB Weld on it, and it kind of helped. Now it just drips, but the guy an hour and a half away, he took it off, cut it down a little bit, reapplied some marine weld on it, and it still leaks a little bit, but at least it's not too bad. So it kind of leaks on this area back in here, which is kind of bad, but it's only a drip. And I think I'm missing a clamp here to hold this gas line on, because I think it's dripping. It's a little wet there for some reason. So right now it runs a little boggy, probably because there's still a little bit of oil left. Even though I've ran about 4 gallons through it, it still bogs, but that's good because that just means I'm running not as hot. So hopefully once the oil's out, I'm going to pull the spark plug, clean it up, put it back in, and I should be good on that. So hopefully that won't be a problem. Then I wish I would have had this done for the video, but that'll be part of phase 4, I guess. I have a newer style, one of these guys, that I'll put on, which will be nicer. I'm gonna have to drill a hole for this reverse override. Oh, and I got one of these stupid things. Instead of it going through there, which was messing up, I got, hopefully this lasts. I don't know, I've heard mixed reviews on these things, but we'll see. It was only like $5, I think. So, but I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, he took his time to go through it. I know it's hard to tell because of course I didn't clean it, but this was all rusted. Okay, yeah, I was hoping it wasn't hot still. He painted it with this black material to keep it from rusting even more, because he said there's no holes or anything. He's impressed. So he protected it by pulling it and spraying the whole thing back. The whole tube back all the way up to here. This is all black up here too. So it's protected. I don't know if I can, right back in there. That thing is gonna last a while. But we can see if it starts. Gotta do full choke. It shifts a little rough still. You gotta wiggle the machine back and forth sometimes. And but see, I'm in reverse, but it says it's a neutral. So I gotta go past it again and reset it. And there, now it's in neutral. So let's see if it just... I've already drained the battery once trying to start it. And I've had to run on a full choke sometimes. Hang on. We'll hit the start here. And once it gets going, it idles pretty well. And it's actually rolling. Yep. Apparently I didn't stop it. There we go. He also sealed this thing up. I told him that water was getting in here and making the belt slip. So he put a new rubber grommet around it. And he's mentioned if it still leaks water into it and it slips if I'm deep in the water and after I come out of it, put silicone around the very crack of it. So I shouldn't have to get in here too often. So I should get an extra belt for this though, but that's on the to-do list. Oh, and he did paint the front of this too, the front exhaust. So, it's starting to rain again. And he greased everything he could. He checked it over. He gave it a good bill of health. He wanted to help me make sure it rode for another decade. So I think the next thing will probably be tires if these start to go. I think this front one's leaking a bit, because of course something still keeps coming with this, but I'll keep fixing it. So that's then phase 3. I might have forgotten some stuff, but hopefully I hit the major points of it. I figured I might make some repair videos, like adjusting this chain, making sure it's tight enough, because right now it does seem like it has an inch of play. It's only, well, that might be more than an inch, I don't know, but it should only have an inch. This feels a little loose, but basically this bolt and this bolt here, loosen those guys, and then you got this bolt for the adjuster, and if you back it out, you need, sometimes you get a crowbar to pull this. This is where the grease fitting is, but you pull this out to get to come back, then you re-tighten those 2 bolts there, and it should be good. So yeah, that's about it. I'm pretty sure the big lights still work. We're gonna find out here. Oh yeah, they're still good. They're still good. Ugly yellow light with 3 nice lights, and that's all on high. If I put it on low, those little guys don't work, which is a good way to have it. So yeah, that's phase 3. Yeah, on to phase 4. Do a little more work to it. That should be about it. Get it all cleaned up. Get these letters restored, because they're all faded. There's some tricks some people have said. Can't just paint them like I did the back, but we'll figure out something. So that is the Trail Boss 1987.